What would you do if you saw something you couldn't explain? From ghostly hands to eerie figures caught on tape, these are the moments when even the strongest doubted reality. Are you ready to witness the unexplainable? On September 30th, 2022, in the San Francisco Armory, for 5 years, a night guard worked alone in the quiet, empty halls of the San Francisco Armory. The building had a history of strange stories, but he had always ignored them.
You're gonna want to watch this. Armory security officer Alex Nunez has worked for the San Francisco Armory for the last 5 years.
One night, as he was moving around, a loud scraping sound broke the silence. He saw chairs in the main hall moving by themselves. Chills ran down his spine, but he told himself it could be a mistake.
Throughout his tenure of working the night shift, he's experienced and reported paranormal activities.
Grabbing his flashlight, he walked to the hall. The air felt cold, and the silence was heavy. The chairs were scattered, but no one was there. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed behind him. A heavy door had slammed open, though no one was near it.
The video you're watching is just one of those occurrences. He is currently working the graveyard shift when he heard chairs being shuffled all around. The problem is he's the only person in the building.
He froze. The door moved again, creaking slowly shut and then swinging open. It wasn't random. It felt as if someone, or something, was there. With his heart pounding, he rushed back to the surveillance room. Watching the footage, he saw the chairs move and the door open, but no one was visible. No wind, no shadows, nothing.
Armory security officer Alex Nunez has worked for the San Francisco Armory for the last 5 years. Throughout his tenure of working the night shift, he's experienced and reported paranormal activities. The video you're watching is just one of those occurrences. He is currently working the graveyard shift when he heard chairs being shuffled all around. The problem is he's the only person in the building. He pulled out his phone to record and saw these doors open by themselves.
That night, the Armory felt more alive than ever. For the first time, the guard truly believed the stories might be real. With that being said, let's move on to our second piece of paranormal footage. On April 28th, 2022, a man was walking alone near a quiet cemetery, passing by on a dark evening. He wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary, just trying to get through the night. As he walked along the road, he felt a strange chill in the air. It was then that he noticed something at the bottom of the hill. At first, it seemed like a shadow, moving quickly from left to right, toward the woods.
Alright, West Hill Cemetery. Get the high beams on. We're supposed to see 3 or 4 spirits are supposed to run across.
His heart started to race as he watched. The figure was hard to make out, but it was clear it wasn't just the wind. There was something, or someone, down there, moving fast and disappearing into the trees.
Road. If we turn next time, we're kind of slow. So we're going to see what we catch. Because I don't think it's ever been caught on film, and I've heard the legend.
He stood frozen, staring at the spot, but the figure was gone. The silence around him felt thicker now, almost suffocating.
Never personally saw anything, but something was coming in. Slow and turn right here, sharp. You're supposed to see it out there.
He hurried away, but the image of the shadow stayed with him long after. Even to this day, he couldn't explain what he had seen, but he knew one thing for sure. Something paranormal had crossed his path that night. Let's move on to our third piece of paranormal footage. On February 8th, 2022, a security guard working late in a quiet building had an unsettling experience. He was sitting alone at his desk when he began talking to someone who appeared out of nowhere.
Okay, watch this, y'all. This man, he called his boss asking him, why didn't y'all tell me they had a new employee, right? He constantly looking back, right? He talking to somebody, right?
An employee passing by stopped in confusion. He saw the guard speaking to someone, but there was no one there. The guard seemed to be speaking to an invisible person, offering them a seat to sit down. The employee watched, unsure what to make of it. But when they checked the surveillance footage, it was even more chilling. The shadow of a person could be seen on the floor, yet no living person was around.
Just watch, this is creepy. Look, having a whole conversation with somebody, right? Saying that somebody came and he dapping that person off and everything. Now see, look, y'all see when he dapped them off, look what happened.
The guard, unaware of what was happening, thought he was speaking to a new co-worker, but the truth was much darker. A spirit had been standing there, communicating with him.
He dapped them off. You see that shadow? And then the shadow goes over here, and he pulling the chair out for him. He swore to God he sat there and had a whole conversation with this person. He moved over, talking to him and everything. Y'all better protect yourselves. Whatever that was took advantage of him.
It's clear now there is more to this world than meets the eye. And sometimes, what seems ordinary is anything but. On July 4th, 2023, a chilling moment was caught on camera in a hospital room in Argentina. The room was empty. No patients were inside, yet something strange happened. A ghostly figure moved across the bed as if it was still alive. The figure appeared to shift and rearrange itself, as though it occupied the bed, even though no one was there. Doctors and nurses in the hospital have long suspected that it's haunted. Many patients, still alive, have seen strange things in the halls and rooms, and this video seems to be proof. Could this be the afterlife? Is this what happens when we no longer exist physically on Earth? The eerie movement of the figure in the room has raised many questions. Some believe the spirit may still be tied to the hospital, wandering where it once lived. The video captures something beyond our understanding, a reminder that there is more to this world than we can explain. What do you think? Could this be the answer to what happens after we die? Or is it just another mystery? With these questions still tingling in our minds, let's move on to our next piece of paranormal footage. On the cold night of November 26, 2018, a security officer was working alone in a building when something terrifying happened. As he was walking through the halls, he noticed a strange cold breeze near the elevator. He thought he could follow it, trying to track where it came from, but the breeze stopped near the elevator, and the officer felt uneasy, thinking it was just the storm outside.
The storm is so bad that ghost had to go upstairs. Look at the bottom right. Look.
He turned back, but something strange happened. As he walked away, he felt a sudden, cold touch on his back. His heart raced as he realized that no one was around. He turned quickly, but no one was there. The air felt heavy, and the temperature dropped even more.
There you go. Look at that bitch. It was cold. I'm like, oh shit. I wanted to follow it and feel. See, I'm trying to feel, like, follow the cold breeze. I saw it going towards the elevator, so I went there.
The officer tried to ignore it, thinking it was just his imagination, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was following him. As he walked back towards the stairs, the feeling grew stronger. The presence was so close, but he couldn't see anything. The chill in the air seemed to follow him wherever he went.
It was actually a cold breeze towards the elevator, then it just stopped. So I'm like, damn. Shit. So I walked back, thinking the motherfucker was gone. I guess it didn't want me to follow it. So I'm like, okay. Then something touched me. I'm like, what the fuck? Something fucking touched me. I'm still trying to see, like, where is it at? Like, it vanished, so how is it still touching me or something? I don't know. It's creepy.
He finally decided it was enough. He needed to get upstairs to warmer areas, away from whatever haunted the building. But the cold feeling remained, as if something, or someone, was watching him.
So I'm like, okay. Well, at least I saw it and followed it for a little moment. Then it went to vanish. I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, go ahead and take your ass upstairs and get warm, motherfucker.
Was it a ghost, or a spirit that wanted to make contact? The officer couldn't explain what had happened, but he knew one thing for sure. The building was not as empty as it seemed. Some of your questions will be answered in this upcoming footage. For months, the house had been silent. No creaks in the night, no sudden movements, no reason to feel uneasy. But on April 23rd, 2019, the eerie calm was broken. The mysterious white mist returned, just as it had months before.
Hello, everyone. I know it's been a while. That's because ain't nothing been happening.
It began with a faint movement caught on camera. A thin, ghostly streak darted across the room. The owner barely had time to register what he saw. Is it back? He wondered, his heart pounding. He rewound the footage, and there it was, a pale apparition moving through the air, silent and unnatural.
So far, so my last upload was when that spray, that air freshener spray on the wall came down, and it's been up there for years, so I couldn't explain that one. Either it was getting too old and the tape got too old.
The mist seemed to come from the same corner as before, the one that always felt cooler than the rest of the building. It was there for just a second, then vanished, leaving no trace. He scanned the area, hoping to find something, anything to explain it, but it was gone.
Fell off or whatever, so maybe it could be explained, maybe it couldn't, but this time it was, the usual, like before, the white mist slinging past randomly without me, like, I caught a glimpse of it on the camera at the last minute, and I was like, oh, look who's back. So I don't know, but them came back. It's gonna come from the...
It was as if the mist had a pattern, showing up every few months, teasing its presence but refusing to reveal more. This time, it felt closer, as if it wanted to remind him it hadn't left this place.
It's gonna come from that direction right there. I'm like, what? Look. See it? Right there. That's when I noticed it on the camera right there. That's when I'm like, welcome back. So I had to see if I was able to see it. I was like, nope, it was gone. I was like, wow. I was like, what the... It's like it's starting to show up every 6 months or a few months or something. So, yeah. So when anything happens, I'll be sure to post it for y'all. So that's why I haven't been posting, because ain't nothing been happening. So, yeah.
The building was quiet again, but the air was heavy with the feeling that the mist would return when it was ready. With that being said, let's move on to our next eerie footage of cops being haunted by ghosts. Officer Tim Saver was no stranger to late nights as a police officer, but April 7th, 2023 was unlike anything he had faced before. His quiet shift turned into something out of a nightmare. It started in a dimly lit storage room at the station. While checking the area, Tim froze when he heard faint scratching. Turning toward the sound, he saw something that made his blood run cold. A pair of pale, ghostly hands emerged from the shadows. They scraped along the wall, leaving a faint, chilling sound that echoed in the small room. The hands didn't belong to anyone. They had no arms or body, just floating appendages that moved eerily. Before Tim could react, they vanished into the darkness, leaving him staring at the wall. Shaking, he flipped on the lights, hoping to find an explanation. But the wall was spotless, with no scratches, no marks, no signs that anything had been there. The room felt emptier than before, with a haunting atmosphere. Officer Tim couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't alone. The event haunted him for days, replaying in his mind. The hands weren't just strange, they were unnatural, impossible. Whatever he saw wasn't human, and the fear it left behind was enough for Tim to leave the job he once loved. Moving on to our 8th piece of paranormal footage. On January 28th, 2023, it was late at night, and the security guard had been at his post for hours. He fell asleep with the stick resting in his hand, and the quiet around him was undisturbed. But then, the surveillance camera saw something strange. A white apparition appeared near the iron gate. It didn't open the gate. It simply walked through the locked bars and disappeared into the shadows. The guard woke suddenly when his stick fell to the ground with a loud thud. He woke up, he looked around, but saw no one. Everything was still. The gate was locked, and nothing seemed out of place. A chill ran down his spine, and he froze in fear. He picked up his stick, trying to shake off the fear, but the strange feelings stayed with him. That night, he couldn't forget the sense that something or someone unseen had been there. To this day, the story of the ghostly figure crossing the gate remains a mystery. With that being said, let's move on to our 9th piece of footage. On July 25th, 2024, a security guard was doing his usual checks at a hospital late at night. The building was quiet, with most patients and staff asleep. As he walked down one of the long hallways, he noticed someone at the far end. The person looked like they were walking slowly, but something about it felt strange.
Ghost in hallway of haunted hospital.
The guard called out, but there was no answer. When he took a few steps closer, the figure suddenly disappeared right in front of his eyes. Confused, he checked the area, looking into nearby rooms. Everything was empty. Then, he saw the figure again, this time in another hallway. It moved for a moment, then vanished again. The guard felt uneasy but kept searching. There was no sign of anyone, no sound, and no explanation. By the end of his shift, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had seen something he wasn't meant to. On July 18th, 2022, the Kentucky Police Department received disturbing footage. The video showed an eerie creature that was neither human nor animal. Not only that, the creature was moving around in a very strange manner. Locals were terrified after witnessing such a video from their neighborhood. No one can figure out what it was, but its way of moving shows that it was looking for something. It sends chills down the spine of anyone who watches for more than a minute. Locals also claim of having witnessed paranormal activity around their homes after this footage went viral.
You see his face clearly, right there.
This mysterious figure left the internet puzzled as well. These chilling encounters remind us that the line between the known and the unknown is thinner than we think. From ghostly hands to mysterious apparitions, these moments left even the bravest in disbelief. Which story shook you the most? For more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like this video. Comment below which case you find the most terrifying. Don't forget to press the bell icon for future notifications.